Yeah, well, you're still going real good, which is great.
Well, I don't get around very fast anymore, but I used to get stay up with you when you were little.
Oh, I remember that. I put you through some trouble, huh?
Oh, well, you weren't trouble. You were just a little boy, that's all. I'll miss you.
Oh, yes, ma'am. But what about, what were your parents' names?
Right.
That's right, the right. Right.
Mott and Pearl Wright.
Pearl or Merle?
It was Mott was my daddy's name, and Pearl was my mother's name.
All right. Were they from East Texas as well?
No, they were from around Greenville in Florida.
Okay.
Which is west of Greenville.
Okay, a little closer to Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay. What did your dad do?
Daddy farmed.
Okay.
He raised cotton and corn. That's where he was. On the farm north of Greenville.
Yes, ma'am. Have we been out there before? Have we been out there once?
I think one time we rode out that way, but that's when y'all were little.
Okay.
They lived north of Greenville.
Okay.
Is where they lived.
Okay. Did your mom work? Did she just work on the farm?
No, she worked just in the house, and then she helped Daddy some on the farm.
Okay.
And especially in the summertime, when we pick cotton. Why she'd weigh the cotton.
Oh, okay.
Go out there because they always come down here in East Texas and got some colored people to come up there, and we got a little house out in the field. They stayed, it's mostly men, that picked the cotton. And Mother they'd always come to the wagon where we put the cotton, and they would, they'd weigh the cotton, and she'd put it down so they could be paid so much a pound.
Right. So they got paid by the pound they picked. Is that right?
And that's right.
We're reading about that, and our professor's talking about that.
That's right.
Did you guys have any Hispanic people come up? Any Mexicans?
No, we didn't have any at that time. We didn't have any at all.
Oh, okay.
Around us, that way.
Yeah, well, continue.
Daddy would pay the hands on Friday, and they'd go to town. He'd carry them to town on Saturday so they could spend their money. Most of them were young men, That way.
Yes, I know a thing or two about payday. That's a good day. That sure is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that's. When do you know when your parents were born? It's okay if you don't.
No, I've got it down, honey. I don't have it right with me anyway, but I've got it down.
Okay.
When they were born and all.
Right.
Well, in fact, I've got a whole list of our family down, and when they were born, even Merle and Dale's kids too, and all, even grandkids.
Oh, okay. Well, wait a minute. You're saying you got Merle's side of the family down? I didn't think anybody had her side of the family figured out.
Oh yeah, we worked all that up before my brother,
Yes, ma'am.
Boss, we called him.
Yes, ma'am.
Before he died.
Yes, ma'am.
Worked all that up.
Oh, okay.
He went back to my grandfather and his brothers.
Oh, wow.
All down.
Wow, that's real neat.
Yeah.
That'd be something to look at next time I see you.
Yeah, that's right.
I still can't believe you got Merle's side down. That's something.
There's quite a list with hers.
How much older are you than your brothers?
What's that?
How much older are you than your brothers?
Well, I'm just about, let's see, 10 or 12 years older than they were. And see, both of them are gone now.
Yes, ma'am.
That way.
Yes, ma'am. I remember them. I remember your brothers. Hoss.
You remember?
Yes, sir.
Hoss and Joe?
Hoss and Joe, yeah. Which one had the leg problems?
Joe did.
Joe, that's right. And his wife's Peggy, is that right?
Uh-huh. That's right. His is Peggy.
What about Uncle Hoss? What was...
His is Marcella.
Marcella, yes. Are they both around, or is Peggy gone?
Peggy's gone, but Marcella's still around.
Okay. How's she doing?
She lives there in Greenville. She's doing okay.
Okay.
She has quite a few problems, but she's still around.
Yes, ma'am. Well, that was great getting to see all the girls when we were up there over Christmas. Merle's great grandkids.
Yeah,
they're a fun bunch.
Yeah, that's right. They sure are.
Keeps me young.
Yeah. You didn't get to come to our reunion.
Oh, I know.
This year, you know.
Right.
Well, you'd have seen them all.
Yeah. That's when I should have done my interviews. I could have had them talking for days.
Sure. That's it.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, well, you were a Celeste Blue Devil, is that right?
Yeah, that's school I went to.
Okay, did you...
Greenville wouldn't come bring a bus out and pick us up.
Oh, they would? Okay.
We lived out in the country.
Okay.
But of course, Celeste did. Of course, we had to walk to the highway when it was muddy.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
They couldn't come on those black mud.
Yes, ma'am, that's right. Was it an all-white school?
Was it what?
Was it an all-white school?
Yes.
Did they have
I don't remember any blacks being in it at all.
Uh-huh.
In fact, it wasn't any blacks in the school. I know there wasn't.
Okay.
See, that was kind of before segregation much.
Okay.
Because I know when Dale and I went to California, when we got to El Paso, they started putting blacks on with us on the train, but they didn't have any before that. Because they were, in other words, we were still segregated black.
Okay.
That way.
Yes, ma'am. What was that like during? I think my mom and Johnny. Did Johnny go to school when it was segregated still, or did they integrate when he was?
No, it was segregated when he started at Pewitt.
It was okay. And then did they integrate in between when my mom and Linda?
Oh no.
Or did Linda?
No, they were. Let's see. They were segregated when Johnny and them started down at Pewitt.
Okay.
It's already segregated. I think it's the way it was. Now maybe it's forgetting that way. Because they had on the north side of 67, they had the blacks, and the blacks were on the other side of 67. On the north and the south side.
Yes, ma'am. Because that was the civil rights movement, right, in the 60s?
I guess it was. I mean, I don't remember the dates now.
Oh, yeah, yes, ma'am. Was there a big, I mean, in Omaha when that movement was going on? Could y'all tell in Omaha any, or in terms of everything that was going on?
It wasn't such a discussion of it. It just seemed like the law said we had to do it, and they did it, you know, that way. And we didn't pay much attention to it, you know. that way.
Yes, ma'am.
But, in other words, when they said it was the law, well, we did it, and that's all.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, that's right.
But see, John's, your granddaddy, his brother was killed by the niggers.
Oh.
Which white colored people, I should say.
Yes, ma'am. Was that, when was that? When did you know him?
Oh, I had met him, it's right after we got married.
Okay.
47. And he was, with a policeman, he was running for sheriff in Texarkana.
Mm-hmm.
And, he was going out with this constable to, to kind of view the territory when, they stopped these load of colored people, and so the deputy, he got in the car with the one that he was taking in and took him to town, and he left him with two or three others, and one in the back seat grabbed his gun and shot him in the stomach and then in the head. It's close to over Texarkana where they were parked. In fact, found hooks.
Oh, okay.
He stayed there. The rest of them disappeared.
Yes,
He was staying there in his car till some man found him. He was at night.
Oh, man. I didn't know that. He had a lot of brothers and sisters, didn't he?
I had 2 sisters and 2 brothers.
Yes, that's right. That's right. What about John?
Oh, he had 9. There was 9 in his family, honey.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He had a big old family.
He had a big family,
Yes,
but do you know what any of them's living?
No, ma'am.
That's right. Not any of them living. In fact, not any of their wives are living either. I'm the only one left.
Oh, wow.
Of that family, except cousins and
Yes, ma'am.
that way.
Yes, ma'am. The Talleys.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, I got the Talley name. It's okay.
Yes, that's right. Sure. That's right.
So you graduated high school, right?
Yes, in 42.
Okay. And you said all the boys started to head off when you were...
Oh, yes. See, Japan, bombed Pearl Harbor, see. And, they started getting every boy in our class that was 18, they were drafted and had to leave before they even graduated. From high school even, Because they were drafting everybody. Every boy, in other words. Outside.
Yes, ma'am. And after you graduated, is that when you went out to California?
No, I waited about a year. Dale wanted to go too.
Oh, so you waited.
She hadn't graduated from high school. She was graduating the next year. And I worked there. I went to kind of a secretarial school there for a while. And then we tore out when just me and she graduated by more than several weeks. A week or 2, we took off for California then.
So I want to talk about that a little more. The secretary school, is that when you learned some bookkeeping and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bookkeeping and typing.
Okay. I think I forgot. I was talking to my sister. She reminded me that you had done that. That's
right.
Yes, ma'am. That's pretty cool. Was that there?
It was during the war that way, and they had a airport, Major's Field, they called it, but it was an army camp there in Greenville.
Oh, okay.
South of Greenville. And so I worked kind of for the Red Cross, that meant getting boys passes to go home and things like that. After I got out of
School?
At Carol's school.
You work for the Red Cross? Is that the reason?
I just worked through the office, this. I had a Red Cross office there.
Okay.
I worked there.
You said you got some of the boys home? Typed up some papers?
Some of them, their families would die, and then we had to get passes, They had to go through this Red Cross to get it.
Okay. Okay, well that's pretty neat. And so, you feel like once the war hit, that everything kind of was geared towards the war?
Everything was, in other words, chaos. Because they were just jerking every boy up around, to go off to service.
Mm-hmm.
And then we all had to, we had rationed.
Really?
You couldn't buy a certain amount of gasoline, and you couldn't buy flour and sugar.
Okay.
You had to have a stamps, they called them. You had to sign up for stamps.
Mm-hmm.
So many stamps. I've got a little piece of a book I saved,
Yes, ma'am.
And when you used those stamps up, you had to wait till the next month to get your stamps. In other words, you had to make your sugar and stuff like that last. And gasoline the same way.
Okay, because they were using it all for the war, huh?
All for the war. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. And so, how long were you out in California?
13 months.
All right.
We worked out there 13 months, and Daddy had a heart attack.
Oh, really?
And so we came home. Bill and I did.
Oh, your father did?
Yeah, my dad did,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did he pass away then?
Did what?
Did he pass away when he had the heart attack?
No, he didn't pass away right at that time, but then a few months later he did.
Okay.
That way. Mm-hmm. So.
Okay.
No, well, he didn't. No, I take it back. Since I got to thinking about it, Mother was killed first. In a car wreck.
Oh, yes, ma'am. That's right.
And then Daddy lived on, and then he passed away.
Okay.
About a year more, I think it was.
So your mom was in the car accident. Was that before y'all left for California, or?
Well, that was after we got back. We were working in Dallas.
Oh, okay. So your dad had the heart attack. Y'all came back and were back in town, and then your mom was in the accident.
That's right.
And then your dad passed away a little after that.
After that,
That must have been tough.
About a year or more after it. It was.
Man, I'm very lucky to have.
See, Mother was just 52.
Yes, ma'am.
She was killed that way.
Yes, ma'am. That's tough.
So that makes a lot of difference.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, wow. Well, this is something cool. I told you we watched that Rosie the Riveter movie, and made me think of you while we were watching it. So what was California like? Tell me about California.
Well, we had some friends that moved out to California. Well, their son moved to California. Of course, they were just asking everybody to go to work.
Yes, ma'am.
Because all the men were gone. And so she got after her mother and daddy moved out there, and then of course, we've been friends there around Greenville. And we moved out there with them because she said, you can get a job anywhere you want it, So I didn't get it. I tried to find a job in the secretary, but I couldn't do it. They wanted people on the line too much, Work on the airplanes and things. So that's where I got a job.
Okay. You were working on the bombers, right?
Yes,
The B-42? The B-42, is that right?
No, P-61.
Okay.
Is one where it was, in other words, they called it the Black Widow. They bombed at night. They were black.
Oh, yeah. I've seen,
black.
Yeah, I've seen some cool pictures. Those are some, that's a machine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I worked on.
What specific were you working on? Did you rotate, or did you just have one job?
Well, they taught us we had to go to school for 6 weeks. You know, to learn all the tools. Of course, I knew most all the tools. You know, the branches and things. And then they put us on the line, they call it. And I worked on the landing gear doors.
Okay.
You know, they open up and let the wheels come down.
Yes, ma'am.
That's where I worked.
Okay.
Most of the time. Of course, every now and then they'd get behind and we'd have to go help out somebody, you know, around. But it's one great big building. And you just had this certain place you worked, you know, that's all you did.
Okay.
You just when you got one built, they take it off and they just start in on another one.
How long did y'all work a day? Was it?
We worked. I worked from seemed like it was 7 o'clock till 4 of the evening or something like that.
Yes, ma'am. Was that every day, or did you guys get Saturday and Sunday off, or Sunday off?
We got Saturday and Sunday off.
Okay.
And see, they had 3 shifts working.
Oh, so they were. Okay.
Yeah. Had the 3 shifts working.
And
see, I lived close enough with this family. There's 4 of us girls lived in one room. But we all were working, see. And we had one bath in the whole house. You had to wait your turn. Get up early enough to make it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
See, they had these, I walked to work, and they had these big dirigibles, you know, like kind of like a helium balloon. All the way, they were ever so many blocks, they'd have one of those, and at night, they put those things up in the air to keep the Japanese from coming in and bombing L.A.
Yeah. How was the pay pretty good?
Well, it was at that time. I think it was $1 and something is all.
Okay.
But your dollar went a lot further than it does now, because $1 don't go anywhere.
So could you tell that, you know, from going from the secretary position over to the working for the war, was there a change in the pay? Were you making more in California than you were back home?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I started out as a rookie there, you know, for $5 a week. That's all I got paid.
Oh, wow. So you went from $5 a week to $30 a week, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Well, in other words, we worked, and I came home with $1,000 I'd saved up from those 13 months.
Wow.
You know. But you couldn't go anywhere much, and you just had to catch the streetcars, and the whole town was just covered in soldiers and sailors and Marines, you know. Because they were all in that, so they could ship them out, you know, that way.
Oh, that's right. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. It was quite an experience for us.
I bet. I mean, I bet you've never been out of Texas before, had you? And then you went out to California?
No, we hadn't even been anywhere hardly. Except to Dallas, you know. We were on the train. It took us 13 hours to get out there.
Oh, wow. And you said it was you and Dell that went out there, right? Mo was too young.
Bill was just barely, she was 18, a little over 18 when we went.
Okay.
So, it wasn't like it was nowadays. She wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's a special time. That's what I've been learning from the book and the movie and our lectures is about just how how the time was so much changed. What about your parents on the farm when the war hit? Did their production increase because the depression must have slowed down a lot of what they were doing?
Sure did.
So when
Daddy and my granddaddy just kept farming, like. That way. They didn't leave the farm to go to those. A lot of them left the farm and went to, different places, but they didn't.
They stayed and kept producing?
They stayed and,
Were they selling to the government, do you know?
No, I don't think they were.
They weren't contracted?
No, they didn't have any contract with the government in a way. That way. Because they didn't raise anything but cotton and corn, see, and they just sell that.
They just sell that to people in town?
Well, they had the cotton, they, bale it up, and then they take the seeds out, and the cotton seed and all went to the different places that made things for the service.
Okay.
That way.
So they sold it to the gins and stuff that were going to produce it? Okay.
Yeah, they would fix it up, And of course the corn, they went for, took a lot of corn to sell to the government. Of course we didn't sell it directly to the government, but we sold it. And they used it, for feed for that, corn for the army, to eat. Like cornbread and things like that.
Okay. And I know you mentioned some about, well, I'll slow down, I'll go back. You after that you went to Dallas, and were you working your secretary job again?
Yes, for Internal Revenue, IRS, yes.
For the IRS, okay. That's when you met Papa? When you were working in Dallas?
Yeah, I was working in Dallas,
Okay.
Yeah, I lived in Dallas. We just had a room there in Dallas.
That's a big old city, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't so big, all that big, see, when we were over there. That way.
Was it all three of you girls that were living in Dallas together?
Well, Merle wasn't even graduated when we come back, see.
Oh, okay.
So when she graduated, well, she went with us over in Dallas, and she worked for an insurance company.
Oh, okay.
She got her job,
Okay, well, that's good. And then you and Papa were married in 47, that's right? Isn't that right? Okay, and he, is that when y'all got the farm soon after?
Oh, no, honey.
Oh, really?
He drove a truck there for a long time. He does. See, when I had attack of appendicitis when Linda was just a little baby, maybe she's several months old, and he was in New York. Driving a truck up there, see. They come, took a load up there. And they'd pick up a load and bring it back.
Oh, okay.
And see, I was already operated on and back at home before he got back from up there.
Where did y'all live while he was driving?
We lived there in Mount Pleasant.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were y'all in a house there or just an apartment?
We had a house.
Okay.
We rented the house there in Mount Pleasant.
Okay. How long before you guys moved out to the farmhouse?
Oh, well, let's see. Linda was in the first grade and Johnny was in the third grade. Yeah. We moved out there. Well, we moved out, it was east of Mount Pleasant we rented a house out there kind of in the country. And from there, we bought a house there in the Omaha district, you know.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
So,
yeah.
We lived there 40 some odd years.
Yes, ma'am. That's where my mom grew up.
Sure was. That's right.
And then, so how long did Papa keep driving before he got the station?
Oh, he drove for the refinery then after he was on those long hauls.
Yes, ma'am.
He worked at the refinery there in Mount Pleasant, and they laid him off, and he started driving for a butane truck, you know, delivering butane around. And then we bought this place, and then it wasn't long after that. Well, you know, his age was getting on up, so he couldn't get a job.
Yeah.
Because if you're past 50, you couldn't get a job hardly then.
Right.
And so we bought the farm, and that's when we started the station after that.
Okay. And did you work up there at the station with him?
I worked up there a little bit, you know, but most of the time I carried his lunch every day up there.
Okay.
And if he had to, you know, to go to town, like into Naples or something, I'd run the station while he was gone.
Okay.
And so, of course, Johnny and Linda and Jan Ball worked up there.
Okay.
You know, they didn't do it down by themselves, but they worked up there with him.
Right.
And would stay there if he had to do something else, you know.
Yeah, that's right. I think my mom told me all about that.
That's right.
And you were taking care of quite a few kids, huh? You had 3 to take care of, didn't you?
Yeah, I had plenty to take care of.
You had plenty to do, and I've been around all 3 of your kids. I know that.
That's right. Yes. It all worked.
Yes, ma'am. And I know my mom told me this, but you guys were able to pay for, you know, all the kids' college. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
When Daddy died and we sold the farm up there, of course we didn't sell it for a whole lot. You couldn't at that time. But when I got my part of the money, that started Johnny into college, you know, so he could go to college.
When was that?
After my daddy died, we sold the farm.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, it's 2 or 3 years after that.
Okay.
After he died, we sold the farm, and I got a little money that way, and that's what started Johnny to college. And of course, the station kept the others going. Linda and Jan.
Okay.
But we wanted them all to have at least their college education, you know.
Yeah, my mom emphasized that you guys were able to pay for all the college, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
I could imagine.
Well,
that's good.
We didn't have much, but we assumed that they had it, you know, that they got their studies, you know, and I don't regret a bit of it. That way.
And you guys wanted them all to get their teaching certificates, right?
Well, we didn't specify they get it, but they wanted, Johnny and Linda wanted, and Johnny got his first, and then Linda decided she'd be a teacher. And I asked and told Jan, I said, now, honey, when you get your teaching certificate, if you never use it, because you can always fall back to it.
Mm-hmm.
That way.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't like teaching,
Yeah. Well, I know for me, I think it's interesting to look at that side of the family with Johnny and Linda, and even my mom did some teaching, and then also my Evelyn and Bob's were both teachers, so it seems the emphasis on education for both sides of the family, and then you've seen and my dad went on to get a good education as well, and then me and my sister are blessed to have that. Seems like the emphasis that you guys put on education, has continued through us as well.
That's right. Well, you take of course Dale really went to Austin too.
Mm-hmm.
But now Merle's bunch, there's not any of them. I think one of the grandkids, Tammy, got hers, but after she married and all, she went to college and got her degree. But not the rest of them haven't.
Uh-huh.
Not one of them.
Okay. Did Papa?
No,
No.
He didn't have except high school education. Now Mother had a teaching certificate. She got her teaching certificate.
Okay, so that's your mom?
My mother, Yeah.
Okay.
She never did teach.
Okay.
She got married instead.
Yeah.
Started having kids.
And Papa, he got his. Was he driving before the war? Because he was a trainer during the war. Is that right?
Who? Papa?
Yes.
Your Papa? No, he didn't get a high school education. His daddy died, and he had to go back to the farm and keep for his mother's farm. Help with his mother's farm and cattle.
Uh-huh.
He never did get a high school education.
That's John?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And was he out from Greenville too?
No, he was from down at Omaha.
Oh, okay. So he was with...
My daddy lived in Greenville, see. He was out at north of Greenville.
Okay.
And see, he went to the war in 1918.
Your daddy was?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he never did go overseas about the time that, he was fixing to go overseas when the armistice was declared, see, so he didn't have to go overseas.
Okay.
That way.
Yeah, that's good. That was nasty over there.
Sure, that's right.
What about Papa? He served, didn't he?
Oh, yes. He was in World War II. But see, he was on up in age when the World War II came along.
Right.
But he was drafted anyway.
Right.
He and Bill went off to the same time. Were drafted at the same time.
Okay. And
that way.
Papa, did he do some?
He never did go overseas.
Right, but he worked at a base, didn't he?
Yes. He was at a base in. Where was it now? Anyway, I don't remember right now. I can't think of the name, honey.
Yes, ma'am. What did he do at the base?
Oh, well, they just took training. That's what they did, you know. And he was in charge of about 2 barracks, I think it was, because he was older, and he said he'd see those boys as just barely 18, you know, and some of them younger than that, crying at night, you know, wanting to go home, but they couldn't.
Right.
Because they were drafted. That way.
Okay. And yeah, and Uncle Bill, he fought, didn't he? He went overseas, right?
Oh, yeah, he went overseas, yeah. But see, Bill was about 10 years younger than John.
Oh, okay.
Bill was just about a few months older than I am. Well, it would have been a bit.
Okay.
He was in Italy and all those places, several places over there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I remember hearing some of those stories. When was Papa born? June? John.
Yeah, Papa.
Yes, ma'am.
He was in June the 7th,
That's right.
1913.
Okay.
That one.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. And was his daddy a preacher?
No,
Oh, okay.
John's daddy was a preacher.
John's daddy was? Okay. Was he from Alabama? Is that right?
Was he what?
Was John's daddy from Alabama?
Yes, But he moved back here when he was pretty young.
Oh, okay.
Moved to Texas.
Papa? He was born. He was born out in Alabama though?
Oh no, Papa wasn't born in Alabama.
Oh,
he was born back here.
Oh, okay. His daddy was born out there.
He was born in Alabama.
Okay. And so, did your family, did you guys go to church when you were growing up on Sundays?
Yeah, some of the time, because we couldn't get out a lot of times, you know, and make it to the church, because you take those black roads up there, you didn't go much. Especially in the winter time, you know, that way. We went to the Methodist church in, well, in Salem community, about 2.5 miles from our house.
This is when you were growing up, or is this when you were married?
Yeah. No, that's when we were growing up. It was.
Was that, y'all went on Sundays when you went?
Yes,
Did you guys work any on Sundays?
No. No, we didn't. Now, we had the station when we run it. We run it, you know, 7 days a week.
Oh, okay.
That way.
So when y'all had the station, and when you were married with Jan, did y'all go to a church then?
Well, we went over there to Concord, you know, where John is buried. That way.
Okay. Do you and Linda go much in town on Sundays? To the Mount
No,
Vernon?
we don't. I started up here at the Methodist Church when I first moved here, but I seemed like I couldn't fit in there, you know, because most of them are old-timers, and then the other younger ones, I just didn't fit in, so I just don't go.
Yes, ma'am.
That way.
Does Linda feel the same way?
Yes, that's right. She doesn't go either.
Does Johnny and Becky, do you know if they go?
They go some, but not much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Does Amy and does Amy go? Amy and
Amy Clint goes to church.
Okay.
Now I don't know what church they go to, that way.
Mm-hmm. Did y'all read the Bible some on Sundays when you couldn't make it out to church, or did you guys? I know Aunt Linda has a hymn book. Did you guys have a hymn book?
Oh yeah. That's right.
Did Papa ever read from that to the family? Some?
No, he never did. No, he sure didn't.
Okay.
Well, it seemed like we never had time on Sunday because he worked a lot on Sundays,
Yes, ma'am.
In other words, when you worked, well, we'd open up, at 7, it'd be 7 at night when you closed the station.
Right.
And, of course, otherwise he was gone so much on the road.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
Because when he worked at the refinery, he'd be called out at 1 o'clock to take a load to Dallas or San Antonio. In just different times. Because with Janice and the kid, and Linda and Johnny, I had to take most of the time to stay outside with him when he was come home sleeping, during the day.
Right.
That way.
Yeah. That's right. Well, we got some good stuff here, Nanny.
Well, it's not a whole lot, but it's nothing exciting. But
oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's exciting. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Things really are. I mean, we're talking on our cell phones right now. That's something else, isn't it? That must be something else. And then, computers and everything. And you've lived through a very dynamic time. Yes, ma'am. So I mean, you supported you had to support your boys with everything you had, right? It was a total war effort. Oh, yes, ma'am. I know we touched on it for a little bit, but this will probably be our last segment. I just wanted to talk real quick about the Depression, in the 1930s. What, you were farming. Yes, ma'am.
or something like that. And he asked me, somebody should give me a silver dollar. Born when I was born, 1923.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I never had spent it. I haven't, anyway. It's been put up. And he asked me if he could borrow that dollar because that, he needed it. The banks were closed. You couldn't get any money out of the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And all that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And he borrowed that dollar from me, and I can remember that. Remember what else we did? I just don't remember.
Yes, ma'am. You guys, you raised everything except for flour and sugar, is that right?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and we even made syrup, to substitute for your sugar, right?
Yes, ma'am. But do you feel, I know you don't remember it too much, but do you feel like since y'all grew your own food that it was all right?
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We didn't have any of these preservatives and insecticides they put on them now.
Right.
If the bugs got on them, we just knocked them off ourselves, picked them off ourselves.
Yes, ma'am.
When you raise your peas and your corn, and of course you ground your corn for your cornmeal, and you had all your fruits that you had, because we had some fruit trees too, see?
Mm-hmm.
That way, you were more or less self-sufficient.
Yes.
That way.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Because we learned about that because they say mostly in Texas it was hit. I mean, it was hit by the depression, but a lot of the people were farmers, and so they were able to at least eat, which is something that was even rare in the depression.
Oh yes, it sure was. That's one reason that we had everything that the depression didn't, instill in my mind much about doing without, Of course, Mother made her clothes out of, we used to buy flour in flour sacks, 48 pounds at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in cloth with maybe flowers or something on it. Well, Mother made our clothes out of it.
Uh-huh.
Our dresses and all out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you couldn't go to town and buy a whole lot of stuff. You didn't have the money.
Yeah. You used what you had, right?
Yeah, you used what you had. Mm-hmm. But, when you're growing up as a child like that, you don't remember all that stuff. I mean, how hard it was. We didn't think we had it hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody was that way.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. And everybody was in it together.
A lot different. Mm-hmm. Sure does.
Yes, ma'am.
So, in other words, whatever you make him a pet, you live on it. Don't think anything about it.
Yes.
You don't have all the luxuries, and just like me now, I'm trying to live on my Social Security. And in other words, it's getting harder every day because things are going up.
Yes, they are.
The gas around your place is high too, I guess.
Yes, ma'am. We're pushing $3.50, I think, for a gallon.
Well, that's what we are here.
We need to talk to my dad.
And I told him in the letter to Jen one time, I told last week of it, no, week before last, I said, well, I wish Jeff could do something about this gas price. But
Yeah. Yeah, I like giving him a hard time too. You're gonna be giving me a hard time too once I'm in it, once I'm in the business. Uh-oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow, yeah. And that's probably about what I get. It's not a whole lot.
I see it in my truck. It's sometimes pretty tough. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pay for it this summer because they know I'll be down in doses, and that's about an hour south of Longview, and then I'll be looking at the trip and be up there for the yeah, which is somebody you're gonna have to meet, man. I'm gonna hopefully this summer we'll get a chance to meet her. She's a real sweetheart. You know, she's real pretty too, but she's real sweet. I think she really will. She really will live with you. Now I have to warn about Linda Dunn and Merle, and I know that she can hold her own. She's from East Texas too. We have, I think I told my brother Ross is coming in tonight. You know my friend Ross Peters, he's kind of tall. Yeah, and well, Shelby was my roommate, kind of big Mexican guy, dark skin. Shelby. Okay, I know you know Shelby for a long time. Aunt Linda wrote me, I think you were too, right? Linda wrote me a Valentine's card, and she said, tell Shelby hi, they're having Valentine's too, and we used to be roommates, and so, I used to always, she was always around now. And I always like reading your letters. Don't think I'm not too old for that. I promise you. Yeah. Is anybody coming up today? Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, man, for willing to talk to me and sharing about yourself. I really enjoyed hearing from you and hearing about everything. It's very, very interesting.
Huh. Oh. Yeah, I agree on that. That some